All right, we are live. All right, guys, so look, so today we're gonna give him a nice crispy high taper here, and this texture of hair, it's like dark but fine at the same time. So I'm gonna show you guys the strategies I like to use to attack this cut. Nice little taper back here, give it a nice sharp lineup. And what we're gonna be using for today's cut also, guys, we are using the full Zoom 45 set. I've got the Zoom 45 clipper here in hand. We're gonna be using the Zoom 45 trimmer as well. The links are gonna be in the description below, but yeah, we can go ahead and just get right into this tutorial, man. We're gonna start off just by evening out this haircut. You know, it's not gonna be anything crazy like, and of course you can see I'm gonna be using the Wall number 8 guard. The ones that come with the Zoom 45, those precision guards, come up to the number 4. I think in the future we're gonna be coming out with more lengths. Just make sure you do multiple passes, right? And pay attention to the direction that the hair is growing in. If the hair is growing down, you're gonna go straight up. If the hair is growing to the left, you're gonna cut to the right. You know, that's what we call against the grain. So you always have to pay attention to what the grain of the hair is. I'm gonna make sure to be going directly in the opposite direction that I have to comb it. We'll just do a little more work here so we can go ahead and get all this evened out. And then we'll jump right into the guidelines here for the taper. What we're gonna go ahead and do is with the clipper closed, I'm gonna start here at the corner. Remember, with a high taper, you're gonna be erasing the C cup. So let's go ahead and pretty much meet that guideline right at where we would line up the C cup and bring that thing straight back. And I wanna connect that right here to where, basically where his ear starts. Give him a nice solid taper line back here too. The same thing with the clipper closed. If I put it in with the trimmer, I can do that. You definitely can, and you see a lot of other educators and influencers doing it as well. But I think it's gonna give you a little bit more work to do. Okay, so I want it to be simple for you guys. I want it to be simple and pretty easy to take this line out. So that's why I'm gonna start here with this clipper all the way closed. And you can see, it's still a bald line basically. In its essence, it's a bald line. Got my half guard now. Half guard all the way closed. Now, while I'm setting guidelines, while I'm debulking the hair, I'm gonna have the clipper on turbo. You can see the second button here, the Zoom 45 button is lit up. But when I start to slow it down for detailing and for blending, that's when I'm gonna turn it off, and it's gonna act a little more kind of like a Oster fast speed, or maybe even like a JRL on the slow speed, but really more like a fast speed. JRL definitely tried a thing with their slow speed, but it's almost like their slow speed just doesn't give that effect that we wanted. So I'm just gonna set this guideline in here. I want this to be spread out. I don't really want this to be condensed or too compressed. You know, if this blend is compressed at the bottom, you're cooked. You're cooked. It's definitely gonna be like bowl cut vibes. Right, got that. I'm gonna put that half guard down. Here's my bristle brush. Oh, here it is. So I use a bristle brush now that the guideline is already set. But I like using that bristle brush pretty much so that way I could pretty much make sure that all the debris is being removed. Right? So, you know, if you use a comb, the thing is, like, as you cut and as you fade and start to blend these different layers together, you kind of mesh all these different shades of color together, you need to really be looking at a clean canvas, because what if I feel like there's a dark line here in this area, but it's only really there because it's cut hair that's already been cut. Let's just sit in there on that dark area. That's not gonna really help me. If anything, that might just slow me down a little more. So, you know, that's something to consider, man. So look, we're just gonna keep on working down here. You know, you can work your way from bigger to smaller with the lever, or you can work your way from smaller to bigger. Just keep doing a little bit of lever play, and just make sure that with all this blending work, you don't actually touch the top line. You want to stay coloring within the lines, because if I were to touch that top line and affect the guideline that I set, then, you know, I'm just going to be giving myself more blending work to do at the end. This is like a border that I set. I can't pass that border. I can't cross it. Cool. So I like how that's tapered out. Put your head down just a little bit. And then you're not going to see a big difference with every little stroke that I do here. You're really not going to see a big difference. The key is a soft, gradual blend. A little bit more, a little bit more. You know, we're just working our way lower and lower in the blend. Now I'm all the way closed. Now remember, we set that line in with the clipper all the way closed. So it should be matching perfectly with that line that we set at the very bottom. And we're just being very careful to not touch that top line, right? We're just doing our best to mesh all this together. I brought the mic just a little bit closer to my mouth too, guys, so that way, you know, maybe you could hear me a little better. I know sometimes the barbershop environment gets crazy loud. All right, here we go. Breaking through that bottom line. I know that it's a half closed at that very top line, so I'm just trying to work underneath that length with the guard removed, right? So I can just keep on blending this out. Lower and lower. I'm just chipping away at all these little dark spots, doing the best that I can. Chipping through, chipping through. Now we're all the way closed here again at the very bottom. So look, that thing's blended out. Okay, so now we're thinking ahead, right? What's next? I need to start gradually. I already know what this top length is. I need to start gradually working my way down. I'm not gonna do a clipper over comb with him, because with this fine texture of hair, if I were to go through and do clipper over comb, you know, sometimes you may accidentally remove too much hair, and all of a sudden now you gotta do, you know what I'm saying, you gotta do like a regular fade instead of just a taper, because you made a light spot now. Okay, so I'm gonna be using a big guard like this here. This is number 4. I'm gonna adjust the camera just a little bit. So here's that number 4. I've got pressure at the bottom, and I'm working my way up. But I got the 4 open, right? Because that's gonna leave it at the maximum darkest level possible. 4 closed is not gonna cut much. It's just gonna gradually bring it down. I'll even hit over here behind the ear a little bit with this 4, just so I could tighten it up just a little bit more for the sake of the edge up, right? I want that edge up to be crispy. But look, this is why I think it's important to debulk with a big guard, because you can see here, even though technically, remember, we cut the top with an 8. I'm debulking the sides and the back with a 4. But do you see how the darkness still kind of matches? Right? Like, you can't really see the line where I cut the 4 and where I cut the 8. That's like a really cool thing. That's a really cool trick where you find these middle guards, and look, I was able to skip the 7, 6, 5, straight to the 4. Because I did it with a purpose, right? There's that 4. Okay, put your head down just a little bit, bud. That's that 4 closed. I forgot to hit it with the 4 closed back here. Talking to y'all got me distracted. All right. Now, on a more coarse, on a thicker head of hair, I would skip straight down to the 1.5. And I probably still could do that. But something that I've been emphasizing in these last few videos that I've dropped this week is memorize the process, not the steps. If I were to memorize my process, then I would just skip straight to the 1.5. I'm sorry, if I were to memorize just the steps, then I would have skipped down to my 1.5, because I've done that for my last few videos. But I'm adapting. I'm trying to give my client the best service I can for his particular hair. cutting hair is not necessarily cookie cutter, right? I'm not going to memorize and use the same exact guards every single time with every single hair type, even though I may do it for most heads. But sometimes, got to switch it up a little bit. So I'm going to do a more gradual, take my time a little bit more with these guards right here in between. I'm going to use the 4 and the 3 and the 2, just because I want to make sure that we don't miss anything here with his hair. Okay, so. Yeah, because if you guys get texture like this in your hair, you're definitely not going to want to skip a lot of guards. Because if you're not careful, you're going to patch it very easy. So look, here's our 2. I'm going to start here with this 2 open. Start with the big 2. Make sure all this hair feeds through. Then little 2. And then just go back and forth between big 2 and little 2. So that way you don't see no lines. You don't want to see no lines. You want to keep it blurry as possible. You can kind of already see like the shape of the high taper starting to come in. Put your head down a little bit. And I'm doing the same process, guys. Look, 2, you know, with the 4 or the 3. This one, the 2. Pressure at the bottom. Lighten it up on my way up. I don't know if you guys are seeing these basketball lessons in the back. That's crazy. You never know what we talk about in the barbershop. But here's the 2. And yeah, man, I'm just gradually going from open to close to in between. I just want to make sure that I don't leave any lines behind, if at all possible. I'm done with the 2, so now let's pull out that 1.5. All right, we'll go ahead and pull out that 1.5. Okay. Open. Now that we get down here to this 1.5, this is where you're really going to start to see a nice transition. I start open and then I go close. And I'm just gonna blend it to the best of my ability with this guard on the clipper. Once I've already done everything that I can with this guard in this section, I'm gonna move on to the next section. All right, we're gonna keep working down. And again, now, like I said, since we're getting now more to the fine hairs, fine detailing of this, now I'm back to having the bristle brush in my hand. So let's start here. We're cornering here with this number 1, with the lever open. Okay. Lower down that lever a little bit. So yeah, you do everything you can with that 1 open, do everything you can with the 1 halfway, do everything you can with the 1 close. This right here, guys, is just a little detailing phase, man. I'm really just doing my best to fine tune the fade. You know, I took the guard down already. Like, really, I'm just trying to do my best to work in here very much with this corner. You probably notice here, like, I'm turning this clipper dang near on its side, so I could really dig up in there. You know, I really just want to do my best to see this haircut in different light and different angles. And that's why I like the crunch that this clipper has too, man, because like I feel like it kind of helps you cut with your ears and with your eyes. So it's super dope, man. Like, I'm liking how this is coming together so far. So that's pretty good right there for the blend, guys. What I'm gonna go ahead and do now is we're gonna start focusing on this lineup process here. Okay, so I love starting with this line back here, man. It's like one of the most satisfying edges to do. The key is, I would say 85 to 90% of the hair that you wanna cut here is gonna be the hangover hairs. You don't wanna cut too far past the root. I definitely understand sometimes you have to, just to make the line flow. But honestly, like, just want to go for a reasonably crispy line, you know, get them right, get them clean. There we go. There we go. Line looking clean, okay? Let's go ahead and move on to the other side before we tack the front. I got a different technique I like to use for the front vertical bars. So for these lineups, guys, it's nothing ever really crazy, man. Just make sure you square him up in your vision. Attack the middle of the line first. And now you're gonna pick a side that you can run straight off to the side. Okay, so I'm really happy with how the line looks from here to here. Now I need to replicate that here to here. So before I move on to now sometimes the vertical bars is cool, you know, to do first, but with his hair in particular, I like to attack his vertical bars with mainly the blade. So I'm returning back to the middle here, and I'm gonna try to use the shape of my blade to kind of trace the line as I go along. So if I hit the line right there where I put it in, and I just try to keep using the long edge of this blade, that should help me get it pretty crispy. So of course we're gonna refine, you know, I do have a camera right here in front of my face, so I'm gonna make sure that everything is nice and even. I'm just gonna put a light reference line right there, and then now I'll put a light reference line here. Cool. So we'll come back with the razor for that. Look at how easy this bald here is gonna come out. We started the fade with the clipper all the way closed, man, so that's just blending effortlessly, man. This is the reason why I like to bald out, or set the bald line at first with the clipper. Here, put your head down again. And we're gonna see that here. Here's something too, guys, with these brows. When you've got a good cutting pair of trimmers like this, when you've got them set properly, you can definitely set like a nice rough draft, just a guideline basically, that I'm gonna use so I can follow up on my blade here in a little bit. But it's never nothing crazy with the brows, you know, you just kind of follow the natural flow. Just follow the natural flow of the brow going all the way around. But that's all I need right there for the trimmers pretty much. The rest of it, I'm just gonna follow up with the blade now. So this is the Turkish razor that we just brought out. Look at how slim that profile is. And that's why I like using this blade a lot too. So I'm gonna show you guys how simple it can be now. Once you remove this, get rid of this right here. So this right here, you just have to slide this in right here. So you slide that in exactly where you want it. That's it. Now, when it comes to the use of it, it's really no different than your traditional razor. If I want to hit this vertical bar, make sure that I use this thumb here to keep the skin nice and tight. We don't want to have no cuts. You want to keep the skin nice and tight so that way this blade can just do what it does. Cool. Same thing here. Since I want that skin tight, where I come in here, remove the excess, keep the skin tight, shave it, skin tight, shave it, keep going. All right, I'm gonna show you guys what it looks like with the brow too. So with the brow, same concept. Keep that skin pulled tight right here. Follow the natural shape at the very top of this brow. Only do the strokes that you need to. You don't want to like burn their skin by putting in doing too much. Keep the skin tight up here. And then you can kind of just follow that line that we set in. But you can see here, right, like with this type of razor, the slim profile really makes it a lot easier for us to work and do what we need to. So yeah, man, let's go ahead and fast forward through the rest of this razor work so y'all can see how this works. Yo guys, while we're here, that's my boy Magnus right there. This is the best mobile supply in Florida. All right, sorry for that interruption, guys. He's got such a dope business, man. He pulls up to all these local shops all the way throughout Central Florida. Based out of Orlando, man, but he still finds a way to make it out here to Tampa for us, man. That's a good dude, man. Good business. All right, guys, we're looking pretty good here. Let's go ahead and dust some of this off, and let's apply some enhancements too. Nothing crazy, but just very little. Just enough for what we need. To set this cut to the next level here. Here's why I like using the trimmers too on the brows. Whenever you have excess hairs hang over, you know, that's hard to clip with the razor, you can catch them with the trimmer blade. You can catch them with the scissors too, but you know, when you got a precise cutting pair of trimmers like this, I think it works out pretty good, man. You don't have to. You don't have to pull out more tools than necessary. Okay. All right, let's set up these enhancements now. We're gonna go ahead and use this. We'll use this no drip color. You know, it doesn't have to be a whole lot. It really doesn't have to be a whole lot. It really doesn't have to be a lot. The whole key of enhancement is in the name. You're just enhancing the lines that you already put in here. Now look, here's something cool too, guys. So I'll add some light enhancement right here, all along this front edge. Just right there where the trimmer landed, right? Wherever we lined up this hair. Cool, right? So the next step that I take to get a thorough enhancement job is I'll actually blow the bangs out of the way. And then I'll go in and apply a whole nother layer of enhancement underneath. So it's just a good way to kind of add like another thorough level of enhancement. And that's really all that we do for enhancements, bro. Like, I'm gonna comb this down now, hit the excess hairs. So yeah, combing this hair down now I'll be able to just lock in here. And then with the precision that this blade cuts at, it's not gonna be any trouble to be able to pick up the excess hairs. So I feel like that really just locks that edge in, man. Like, you line it up one time, you give it a light enhancement, comb out the hair, and then it makes it that much easier to see the hairs that you missed the first time around. So bro, this thing is looking clean. Look, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish detailing here. We're gonna hit the bottom of this with a shaver, line up the mustache, and cue those closing clips, man. Let me know what you guys thought about this cut.